All right, let's go ahead and begin with a two-part video series. What we see is a woman in her car thoughtfully gazing up and recording this, and there is a text overlay. The song playing is I remember when I lost my mind, which is relevant to the text overlay being portrayed. Text overlay reads, remembering when I had a whole wedding just to never file the marriage certificate because I already knew he wasn't the one for me. What the heck kind of flex is this? Okay, so if you, little Madame Oracle over here, little Miss TikTok psychic reader, were so deep in tune, your pineal gland so decalcified, your third eye so open, your chakras align, that you were able to receive this omnipotent wisdom from the heavens that you knew he wasn't the one for you, why didn't you just not have the multiple $1,000 cost wedding? If you and your like female intuition knew enough that you shouldn't even file the paperwork, why did that not stop you from booking the photographer, booking the venue, arranging all of your closest friends and family members, people to take off work, spend the gas, put in thought and effort into something that everyone is assuming is a lifelong union? You're gonna brag about the fact that you were smart enough to not file, as if that even like remotely negates the dumbassery that went into every decision prior. This is such a weird thing to brag about, but even weirder, we got 70,000 people who were like, oh girl, that's good. That's what I should have done.
What is wrong with you?
What? Like, this is exactly why people say that women want the wedding, not the marriage. Same less times with men. It happens with men where men want just the perceived marriage so that they can say to their colleagues, I have a wife, but they don't actually care about the commitment. These things happen too, but this is the exact scenario where people say, y'all want the wedding, not the marriage. And I swear, people think that like, once the ring goes on, the problems disappear. And if that doesn't do it, they're like, this didn't work. Okay, put a baby in me. Let's see if this makes us like each other. Y'all are fucking crazy. Carl says must have been on dad's credit card. That's what I'm saying. I very seldom. I wonder if I can actually find the data for this. How often do brides pay for their own wedding? And I mean like the bride herself, not the parents, 1/3 of couples are covering all of their wedding costs on their own. So not the majority. According to a survey done by The Knot, on average, parents contribute to 51% of the wedding budget. So it's not likely that she paid for this entirely on her own. The other thing too about what goes into not filing, being the one who didn't file, is you're already paying the officiant, right? You're already paying someone to marry you. And as an officiant, I can tell you that the first thing that we offer is, would you like me to simply file it for you? So it's one less thing on your plate. Or are you like one of those people who needs to see it turned into the desk? You know what I mean? And most people just have the officiant take care of it because you're about to imaginally go off on your honeymoon. And if not, you've still got a ton of things to clean up. You've got a ton of wedding presents to unpack. You're gonna be busy after a wedding. But if you didn't have the officiant do it, it means that you went out of your way to be like, no, I'll take care of this. You just make sure that that puppy comes home with me, okay? It means you took the time to have everybody sign it knowing that you had no intention of dropping it off. Unless, here's another theory too. An equally as likely theory is that she literally just forgot and now she's trying to flex that was her plan all along. I want you guys to vote. What do you think is the most likely scenario here? And I'm going to make you vote before I give you the second video for context. Do you think that she knew all along she wasn't going to file? Or do you think that she literally either forgot or neglected to, just failed to do it, and now she's trying to like add a sprinkle of girl boss flair in the aftermath. What do you vote? Girl boss flair or on purpose? Nobody just forgets. They do. Listen, we're one of those couples who has 2 wedding dates, okay? We literally, we forgot to sign the entire thing the day of. We forgot. We really did. We forgot to get married on our wedding day, y'all. No, Cameron, the problems do not just go away after marriage. Sometimes the effort does, though, and that's what you really have to watch out for. That's one thing that I wish I could just tell all married couples is the problems are never going to go away. What's going to keep you together is if the effort never goes away. Okay? All right, let me show y'all video number 2. Warning ahead of time, I did not speed up her voice. This is the way that she chose to upload the video. I could try to slow it down like a half meter and see if it makes a difference, but it might be a little annoying.
Y'all are messy, okay?
Okay, it sounds a little more normal.
Time really quick. Okay, so first of all, this was 10 years ago, y'all. I was 24. I was young and dumb and full of fun, okay? So I didn't know what I was doing. I had just gotten out of a 5-year relationship with... Okay, so fast forward, and a friend is like, let me introduce you to this guy, Bob, okay? And I'm like,
so I'm convinced that she now has ADHD. I'm 100% convinced that she forgot now because she started recording a video in her car and barely said 2 sentences, and instead of just clipping it out and starting over, she's like, this is fine.
I'm like, sure, yeah. I'm like a relationship girl. Like, I like to be in a relationship. So, I meet Bob, and honestly, the only thing he had going for him was that he could play guitar and sing, and that's all it took for me apparently at 24 years old. So we immediately start dating. We immediately move in together. Y'all, you have to understand that honestly, I didn't have business dating 90% of the people that I dated in my dating life. So my judgment was poor. And
this is always so interesting to me because this is far from the first woman who I've heard describe their love life in these kind of vague terms where, like, it could be anybody's accountability here. You know what I mean? Like, where she's just kind of like, I didn't have any business dating these guys. What does that mean? Does it mean that you think that they were above you? Do you think that they were beneath you? Like, do you see how she's speaking in this kind of vague way where, like, responsibility almost reaches her, but she moves out of its way?
And I don't know, for some reason in my 20s I was super insecure, I guess you'd say, and like no self-confidence whatsoever. So yeah, I basically dated anybody that would show me attention. That sounds bad because I only dated like 3 people before my now husband. Me and old buddy are dating and everything's fine. Side note, let me say, old buddy was, he liked to partake. Okay, so what does that mean for 24-year-old me? Now I'm...
Okay, so for those of you who are only listening and not watching, she is continuing to describe how a lot of what has led her to this point of failing to file for her actual marriage that she partook in is that she was very insecure throughout her 20s. I think a lot of us can relate to that. I think that's at least relatable, and I think that we've all probably dated someone who was bad for us based almost entirely off of insecurity. So again, we're going to give that empathy there. I think we can all relate to that. But the gesture that she did, I'm going to read this in just a second, Morgan. The gesture she did when referring to what old buddy, aka the man she married, does was the smoking illicit substances gesture.
Wow, man.
Vid 1, married under false pretenses, marriage fraud. But that's the thing, though, is they weren't married. And this is also another thing that people do to dodge alimony being ended, is a lot of states... the alimony for the wife will end if she gets married again. So some women will have weddings, but will not file so that they can continue collecting alimony.
That ain't right. Shame on you.
So, and let me tell you, when you're doing that, life is good. Everything's funny and fun and da-da-da-da. And when you first start dating, everybody's fun and everything's fun and you do all the things and oh, it's so fun. So everything was fine. And then, so a year rolls around. We've been dating for a year. And
wait, so now she's suggesting that she was, like, under this cloud of, like, lack of judgment. Like, she couldn't see who he really was because they were smoking too much weed. That's interesting. I've never quite heard that excuse before. We've talked already about birth control hot. how some guys literally are only hot to a woman when she's on a certain kind of birth control, but if she comes off, it will change her hormones and chemistry so much that she may not even be attracted to that same man anymore. I've never heard of marijuana hot. It's not like marijuana it's not up there with like acid or LSD. It's not really making you like completely alter your brain chemistry that hard. And you're chronically high? You just never stop smoking? You're like always high with this person for months, for years? I mean, maybe. So I guess everyone reacts to it differently, you know? Some people laugh really hard at cat videos. Some people apparently trick themselves into years-long relationships where they pledge lifelong allegiance to someone and plan an entire wedding. Y'all ever just get so high you plan and execute an entire wedding?
And we're at the beach and out to dinner for our 1 year anniversary. And as soon as he's walking out of the house to get in the car, I like see the huge ring box in his pocket. And I'm like, oh my God, like, ugh. Like I immediately, I don't know, I thought maybe it was nerves and excitement.
Okay, ladies, let me tell you something. If you ever get an inkling that a man is about to propose to you and your first thought is, ugh, just my suggestion, you don't have to take it. Maybe don't say yes. You don't have to. No one's making you. You don't have to say yes. If your first thought in reaction to receiving a ring from a man is, oh! Ew! What the fuck? Don't say yes. So Tuxin says, the only thing I executed while high was a family-size meal. Yeah, I like to walk into the kitchen and forget what brought me in there.
We go to dinner and we make it through dinner, no proposal. So then he's like, let's go walk on the beach. Mind you, it's like 8 o'clock at night, it's pitch black outside. And so I know what's about to happen. Okay,
So you not only had all this time planning the wedding to think about the fact that you didn't want to marry this man, but you had all the time that you knew he was going to propose to think about how you didn't want to marry this man. Wow. That's a lot of opportunities to not make that really bad choice that you had there.
We drive and walk down to the beach, and not as soon as our feet touch the sand, this mug is walked down on one knee, and it's like, we married. And I had this like, all I could think was...
So you didn't even have an audience! There was literally no pressure. Like, here's the thing. When people choose to propose at, like, a baseball game or a concert and it's in front of everyone, I could understand maybe, like, in the moment being like, oh, shoot, I do not want to embarrass them. But then afterward being like, I privately, like, don't know if we're ready yet. You know what I mean? But, like, no one was there. You could have just... Wisdom has left the chat.
And I was trying to be excited. I thought that's what I wanted. I'm telling y'all what I know looking back now. In the moment, I thought that was what I wanted. And I thought I was just nervous. I didn't realize that was God. I'm trying to tell you. Alright, so we're engaged. And all my friends are like, oh yeah, you already planned a wedding? And I'm maybe like, I'm not feeling that. Like, I don't like trying to plan stuff or choose and pick and boxes. Table. I'm not that person. Tablecloths, napkins, no.
I love this little toddler just coming in like, Mom, you don't need to be embarrassing yourself like this. Let me just help you out and take this whole phone away. And she's like, Mommy's committed to self-sabotage.
Okay, so I'm not trying to have no wedding because looking back now, I know it was my intuition. But in the moment, I just thought it was me, just not wanting to deal with all that stuff. I don't like having to plan crap. Okay, so,
oh, God, she's just one of those. I can already tell we're 2.5 minutes in. Her parents have probably just enabled the shit out of her. She was one of those kids where, like, she would get in trouble at school and the parents would go to meet the teachers and they would be like, so what did you do to her to make her act out in your class? You know what I'm saying? Because here she is. She's like, ew, I don't want to marry him. But, like, I mean, I guess I'll try it. Like, YOLO. And so she says yes to the ring, but then she's like, ew, I don't want to plan a wedding. Now she's like, okay, I'll say yes to the wedding, but, like, I don't want to plan it, so I'm going to have everybody else do it. Literally anybody but me. Again, what could have possibly pushed this more into the forgivable territory for me is if she had planned and booked everything. But you're telling me you couldn't even be asked to be involved in the planning. You just let people plan a whole wedding for you, all the while knowing the entire damn time. You just admitted you've known the entire damn time you don't even want to marry this man. This is such a spoiled girl privilege, dude. They don't even think about what they're doing to anybody but themselves. Even here, her own offspring begs for her attention, and she doesn't even give her a one moment sweetie. She gets swatted away like she's a housefly on her apple, dude.
Okay, so it's the wedding day, and my nerves are just out the roof, y'all. So my bestie's doing my hair and makeup, and she's like, "Are you sure you want to do it? You know, like." And I'm like, "Yeah, heck yeah, it worked."
Everyone knew, dude. Especially your best friends, the intuition. Like, even while she's doing it, she's like, "Are you sure you want me to waste everyone's time right now?" And she's like, "Yes, bestie, I'm gonna waste everyone's time, I promise."
Like, hey, if you aren't feeling this, don't forget, like, you can always not do it, and, you know, whatever. And I'm like, "No, I want to do this. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited." So, it happens. The very small, cheap ceremony happens, okay? We go, like, home right after. Then, I think we went on our honeymoon, like, a few weeks later. I don't feel like we went right away. I feel like we went in November. And that's when I knew for sure. We were there for, like...
Oh my God. How can it be that us women claim that we have this impenetrable, all-seeing, you have to trust it, women's intuition, and yet at the same time, we're the same ones who, one, say shit like this, who are like, I saw the ring and I was like, I knew I didn't want to marry him. As I saw he was about to propose, I was like, I don't want to marry him. But I said yes. The whole leading way up to it, I knew I didn't want to marry him. And then I married him, and it was on our honeymoon that I was like, finally, maybe I don't want to marry him. Like, we're the same people who were like, we emotionally disconnect from a relationship for years before we finally decide to leave. Bitches, why? Why are we doing this to ourselves and others? Do we trust ourselves or no? Like, do we have the intuition or is it worthless? Because if there is a gut instinct, we don't seem to give a shit about it majority of the time, dog. What's the point of it? Women have intuition, but why?
Only 5 days and it was miserable. Like, he was... y'all, when they say people turn into their true selves, they really do, okay? Fun, we did not have fun. I had fun, but we did not have fun. And that's just not me, and I knew right then. So, you know, I came back and I was like, I still had that certificate in my car door from where the preacher signed it and gave it to us right after the ceremony. Because I'm a procrastinator, I don't turn stuff in right away, never anyway. So I didn't do that. And then...
Okay, she just forgot and she's trying to turn it into a flex 100%.
I was like, I'm not turning it in. I think you had 60 days maybe. So I was like, let me just see and try. And no, I think I tried for like another month. And then I was like, there's no way. Like, this is not me. This is not who I am. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me now. Hell no. So I think that's pretty much everything.
Does she think that helps? You're gonna have the audacity to put the hashtag who the F did I marry? You didn't. You didn't, and that's the whole point. I think he's the one who gets to tell that version of the story. Because he is the one who is led to believe that he was actually getting married. But that's the thing, guys. He doesn't need to get a divorce because he never got married. You guys are thinking of situations that he apparently doesn't even need to worry about. You know, this is one of those, I guess, for better or for worse situations. The girlies are very happy about this. The girlies just love it. When you're so young, you confuse dread with being nervous. Was she confused, though? Because I think she pretty clearly told us that at no point was she confused. She knew as soon as she saw the ring that the entire idea was gross to her, but she decided, I'm not gonna lose much if I just try it. She tried to sample marriage.
Can I try it really quick?
There was no, like, she got tricked. There was no, like, anyone else did anything wrong. Like, she is 100% the problem here. Bilson, thank you for the 5, says, who did I marry? No one. She didn't actually marry him. She just wanted the wedding, and to hell with the embarrassment and cost to the man. Truly. Truly.